Howdy, and welcome back to another episode on Olympus. I am Kenkra from Kinara Gaming. In the last episode, I showed you the basics of cave diving. We hit level 10, unlocked our tier 2 tech, and showed you a couple of missions. In this episode, we are going to move to our permanent base location. But first, we are going to need a mount to transport everything. So let's go out and look for something to ride. Welcome to Icarus. I've made a simple enclosure for our mount to be safe, in preparation for our mount to tame. So we're probably looking at a Tyrannus at this point in time. I've not seen many mowers around or buffalo. Well, I'm having a little bit of difficulty finding them at the moment. So what I'm going to do is use up a few talent points. In this hunting tree we've got here, you can see animal health bars. So I want to unlock that, and I'll show you why in a minute. So let's increase our stamina. Now we can see the animal health bars. Whilst we're here, let's look at the solo points. Gain more stamina's good. And let's put some points in movement speed. You can see at a distance the animal health bars. Means it's a lot easier to track your prey and see incoming predators. Whilst we're in the area, this is one of those places that would make a very nice looking base. You've got that massive waterfall at the back there, running stream down here, some nice flat land at the top. A few trees to take out the way. You can make a very pretty base here. Back on with the Tyrannus hunt. We found a Tyrannus and a baby. This is what we're looking for. We need to kill the mother to then take the baby. One thing you must make sure you do is cover yourself in the blood and guts of the mother so the Tyrannus will accept you. Nah, I'm only joking. You don't have to do that at all. And here is our baby. So we'll just push the interact button. And he's now following me. Look how good this gun is. Takes a while to reload. Hostiles will attack you and the baby whilst you are taking them back. So do keep looking behind. They are very, very stupid as well, so they will get caught behind anything they possibly can. Let's get him in here so he's nice and protected. If you go to your food and push your right click, you will feed them, and as you can see, it's quite content with the food at the moment. Right, we're now going to have to make the ranching station. We need to get some more rope made, and then we need wood, leather, fur, and iron nails. One ranching station. And we'll put this just outside. Right, as you can see, there's not much we can make at the moment, so we need to go into our tech tree. We're going to need a food trough, a water trough, an animal bed, and a basic riding saddle. We can now create them on there. Right, let's make the bed first so the little one can go to sleep. Put that just there. And then we need the food trough and the water trough. Both require wood, sticks, and 16 nails apiece. Food trough, one water trough. And then we'll use our water pouch to fill up the trough. It doesn't have to have filtered water, so I'm not going to waste all the purified water. We'll just fill the container up from the lake. A couple of back and forth trips just to fill that up to make sure it's got enough. And it's very content. So the temperature's right, it's happy with the food, and just generally happy. It's night time, let's go to sleep so we get a fresh day. When you do sleep, you do get a well-rested buff. As you can see there, I've got 10% maximum health, 10% health generation, 5% on the staminas, and -5 on the food and water consumption. As you get higher coziness, that does go up, and you do get better bonuses. Right, we shall wait until that's tamed up. Let's get the saddle ready. So for the saddle, we're going to need leather, fur, and more rope. There's our saddle. Here we are. We have our tamed horse. If you've got any suggestions for names, please put them in the comments. There is a whole role where you can breed them out. I'm not going to go into it now. There is a lot to it. There will be a later episode that I will show you the breeding process and show you what sort of mounts I've bred and what they look like. Now let's put the saddle on our mount, and we can now ride. Right, so now we've got our mount, it's time to pack up so we can move to our permanent base. So I'm just going to go around and pick everything up, and I will be with you when it's all ready. So we are all packed up and ready to go. I did have to create a textile bench to make a backpack and some small pouches. The backpack gave me an extra 6 slots, and the pouches allow you to put up to 6 items in and only take a single slot up. I put some bags on my mount, making sure I didn't go over the carry weight. We are going to look to move down somewhere around here. I know there's some nice caves around here. There's a nice big lake here and a little one here, and also easy and short access to the desert area and the snow biome. Let's mosey on. First things first, let's get our purifier in the water. Right, I'm going to set up a little shack and I shall be back with you in a minute. Right, let's start clearing this area a bit.
I was raised in the rust, built tough as nails, where the wind cut sharp and the weak boys bail. I felt the dirt, I've tasted steel, but I ain't never bowed and I never will. Got a backbone carved out of red clay pride, and a fight that don't quit when it's tested or tried. You can bet your last dime and your name on a stone. This fighting heart don't break, it owns. I was built for this, for the blood and sweat, for the long shot odds and the no-name bet, for the nights that burn and the mornings rough, for the pain that pounds but ain't ever enough. Yeah, I'm cut from the grit, from the hammer and hiss. You can't stop what was born for the risk. I'm not just standing, I exist, 'cause I was built for this.
Oh, that is a lovely view. First thing in the morning. So let me show you where I've just cleared. So I'm going to make the base, I'm thinking over the water just here, over this little waterfall. Definitely looking a lot more neater now. The amount of stone and wood I got, but that's all going to be used. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is go into our tech tree, and as we hit level 15 we can now unlock the masonry bench, and we have the stone building set. Just going to learn all of them, and we're going to make our masonry bench. So we need wood, leather, 120 iron nails and some rope, and there's our masonry bench. So we'll put that just here. And one of the first things we want to do is make a load of pillars. So we're looking at wood, stone, leather and nails. So let's make 60. Right, we're just going to put some more points in our mount. So might as well finish off, get the extra 2 mount cargo inventory slots. Then we want to look at getting the stamina up. More stamina he's got, the longer he can run for. Well, whilst we're still waiting for them to finish, let's have a look at the talents. I'm going to go into the habitation, and maybe I should have started this beforehand, but hey. So we've got the discount stone here, where stone buildables cost less to craft. So we're going to want both of them. Then we've got just here extra space. So the first point will give us expanded on anything that has storage on. When we create it, you've got 3 slots and then an extra 5. So we're going to want both points in there. And we want to get down to this one here. So we're going to need to have 1 in here. Maybe we'll add a second one as well. 15% extra smelting speed's always worth it. So we can move around a bit better. Let's lower the carry weight. And then we can put our last 2 points in this. And then, as you can see, it's got the yellow outline, which means it's enhanced. So we'll put that down. So this is the amount of slots we've got here, which is 6, 12, 18, 20 slots. And as you can see, there's 30 slots in this one. We now have our stone beams. So let's grab them. And whilst we're away, let's make some stone floors. What we're lacking at the moment is the nails. And we can get a good 40 there. I am thinking that I'd like to make a base over the water, in front of the waterfall and everything. So we're going to put our first pillar just about here. I shall finish that off in my own time later. Hopefully, I'll have a more fleshed out base for the next episode. We're going to finish the episode off by doing a quest or two. I think we'll start off with a simple quest. So we've got the locate an abandoned base and search for it for the UDA, or build a watchtower and place a beacon to mark the location on the map for future UDA use. We've been doing a little bit of construction today. I think we'll go with the harder quest and go and find the abandoned base. I pre-warn you, this can get a little bit dangerous. So one thing I want to look at getting before we go is a shield. So we need wood, fibre, leather and iron. That goes in our back slot, which is the G button. So you push the G and then you use your right click to defend. So whilst you're using a bow and arrow or any kind of firearms, it will not work. But any one-handed weapon or tool you can use at the same time. So you can attack and block, attack and block. This is the bolt action rifle. Right, so we need to go pick up the item from the dropship. So we'll jump on our mount. Let's go to the dropship. Portal beacon. Move out the way of that before we take damage. And we've got this little purple area just here. That's where we need to head to and find the abandoned base. I will meet you there. Right, here we are at the base. What's it tell us to do now? So we've got to repair the base and defend it at the same time. Let's start repairing up. We can see the enemies coming in. Little bear cubs. Right, and now we just need to put portable beacon down. And now we can go around and skin these little bears. Right, and then we need to go to the pod to receive our reward. Pod's just over here. So we've got vegetables, which gives us Kumara, and that looks like coconut. Or we got some vegetable seed or fruit seed, should I say, strawberry, and there's also some berries there. Or I can get another shield, but getting them health recovery tonics would be extremely handy. So I'm going to go with that. One other thing I'm going to do before heading back is pop back to this base now the quest is complete. And I'm going to grab this beacon because they do come very handy later. Nothing else of interest in here. We've already got our crafting bench. So let's head home and get out of this storm. Right, so we've currently got a tier 3 storm. This is actually pretty good timing. We're going to show you where obviously the wood building is taking damage. At the end of the storm, I will take you over to where we started construction, and obviously we've got pieces out already, and I'll show you what kind of damage that will take. Get the hammer out, and you'll notice that the stone has taken no damage whatsoever. And that's why we're building our base out of stone. Obviously, with the higher tier storms, the stone will take damage. I think it's only possibly concrete that won't take damage. It lasts the tier 8 storm, but we're not at concrete yet, so the best we can do is the stone. You will also notice I went with the stone set. There was another option, which is scoria. Unfortunately, we can only get scoria on other areas. We can't get it on Olympus unless we use certain pickaxes and stuff. But as we're not going to be doing that, we're not going to worry about the scoria at all. Right, so let's have a quick look at the main quest line. I think we're going to go with this quest here, which is defending scanners as they map the region. So it's called Livewire.
Icarus ain't always gonna be so empty. The UDA wants exotics, and the Legos unit's under pressure to scale operations up. Which means they need terrain data, and a heap of it, fast. So grab the radar from the supply crate. The unit wants scans from 3 locations on your map. You'll be heading into uncharted territory, but that's exactly why we need the data. Think you can handle it? Well, either way, it's too late now. Good luck.
Okay, so I've come over to the supply pod here, and we have our radar. Unfortunately, I can't pick it up. And the reason why is because it is a bulky item which requires going on my back. So I'd need to take my wood shield off. And now I have the radar on my back instead of my shield. All right, let's have a look to see where we've got to go. So we've got one scan there, and one all the way over here. So I've got some hefty traveling to do. What I am going to do, because it does say prepare for wildlife attacks, I am going to unlock the herbalism bench and unlock the health recovery tonic. So let's make the herbalism bench, which is fiber, stick, wood, and stone. Right, so to make that tonic, we need lilies, flour, yeast, and tree sap. So I picked up a few lilies earlier. And to get the tree sap, we'll go into the mortar and pestle, and we can either use sticks, which is 4 sticks per tree sap, or we can use our wood, which is 1 bit of wood creates 2 bits tree sap. So let's get that underway. We shall leave the radar here, and we need to go out, and we need flour and yeast and some more lilies. So let's go searching in the morning. Wow, that's a stroke of luck. We have some yeast right outside the base. And lilies. And here we go. It's a wheat field. So we're going to use the sickle because, as shown before, we do get a lot more. So we come onto the mortar and pestle, go to the flour, and just turn all that wheat into flour, shall we? Some of our flour. Need our tree sap. And we can make 40. Let's go with 27. That'll give us 30 in total. That's going to take 9 minutes. Right, so that's our potions made. So let's take 20 with us as we've got a bit more space now. Let's take a fresh oxygen bottle. Let's sleep and we'll go first thing in the morning. Oh, need the scanner. Right, so let's go to our first marker. I'll meet you there.
This is the zone. It's around here somewhere.
Okay, so gonna put our Tyrannus over here. There's being a big mountainous wall there and a big drop there. There shouldn't be any animals that come and attack him in that direction. Right, before we put the scanner down, let's put some health on our bar. And let's put our shield on. So we've got our bow, the one-shot pistol, and the bolt-action rifle, just in case. And then we've got our pickaxe and our knife with our shield. Let's do this.
There you go. Stations online.
We've got a boar coming in. Jaguar as well. Right, so let's pick up the scanner and head to the next area.
This is precise as the data gets. See what you can find.
We're here. Just going to park my Tyrannus down here so he's out the way. Now, you may have gotten to the point in the videos where you're thinking I'm being really overly cautious. The thing is, on this game, there are some quests that turn into real show. It's always better to be over-prepared and be able to deal with anything that's thrown at you. I have died many, many times, not on this run so far, but I have no doubt that I will at some stage. as we go through the series, you will see how much harder some of these quests can actually get, how much harder the combat can actually be, especially when you're so underprepared. Right, so that's the scanner down.
That's it. Systems online.
Ooh, looks like we've got bear cubs this time. And now a big bear. Right, so we'll head over to our third and final location, and I'll meet you there.
You made it. Now you're gonna need to search the area.
Right, we're here, and we found our scan location. Let's again put our mount there. And let's fire this up.
Good. We're reading the station. It's active.
Yeah, looks like it's wolves this time. Level up there. Right, pick up the scanner or radar.
Well,
That's quest
done
complete.
you did a lot more than just survive.
And that was 100 Ren for our troubles. Right, this radar here won't be used again, so I am just going to dump it on the floor. And then let's head home. I shall see you there. Right, so on the way back, I did go and collect some more salt. So one last thing I'm going to show you before finishing this episode is the salting station. So the salting station is just there. We do need fibre, stone, wood, and charcoal. It's our salting station. I should put it down just here. Add the salt. So if you control click on the bit of meat, puts it into the salting station, click salt food, it refreshes the time, and there we go, 2.8 hours until spoiled. Dried stringy meat, same thing. And then the basic dried meat. Okay, well, I've been Kenkra for Kanara Gaming. Thank you for watching. Next episode, hopefully the base will be complete, so I shall show you that. We'll have a little look at the caves around here, hit level 20, which will bring us into the tier 3 tech, and I can show you some of those items, and we'll get a couple more quests done. Thanks for watching. Bye.